Alright, so once there was a boy named David. David was the youngest of 7 brothers. Being the youngest of 7 brothers, Jesse, David's dad, told David that he was to tend the sheep. So he would be the one watching them and keeping an eye on them, making sure that wolves, bears, lions didn't attack. When they had him out there, he was armed with a stick and a sling. And he'd be slinging away. So, as some time went on, a man named Samuel came and spoke with Jesse and told Jesse that he was sent by God in order to anoint the new king and wanted to speak with his sons. Jesse agreed to this and brought his sons in order to meet Samuel. Now, when Samuel went to talk with them, God had told him, when you talk with them, remember one thing. It's not about what you see on the outside. It's about what you see on the inside that really matters. And so, after Samuel had spoken with all of David's older brothers, he went up to Jesse and he asked them, "Do you not have any more sons? Are these all the sons that you have?" And Jesse explained, "No. There's the youngest, David, but he's out tending the sheep." Samuel asked if he could speak with David. And so one of the older boys went and fetched him for him, or went and got him and brought him back. When he got back with David in tow, he told him, "Hey," and spoke with him, sat there and had a conversation with him. And the Lord said to him, "This is him. This is the one." And so Samuel anointed him to be the next king of Israel. Some time went on and Israel was at war with the Philistines. And they had met for battle in this huge field. On the left side you had the Israelis, on the right side you had the Philistines. And they were battling it out. One day, Jesse spoke with David and asked him, "I've got some wares, some supplies, food, and because, your brothers are out at the war, so if you could take it out to them, I'd appreciate it." And so David took those wares, went off to the battlefield. When he got to the battlefield, he overheard these 2 guys talking, and they're talking to each other. And they're talking about this giant of a man, this massive man. He was built, some might say he was cut, just ripping it out, just full on. But he was just a big, big man. And he would come out every morning and he would yell out to the Israelis, "Is there but any of you that are man enough to come face me one-on-one? Just one of you. And stuff, or are you all too afraid that you have to attack me all at once? If one of you was to come out here and was to beat me, we would all lay down our swords right now and become your slaves. But not one of you would dare come out here and face me one-on-one." The Israelis, fearing this giant of a man, always stayed away from him. But he has become such a menace that Saul's put a price on his head, a bounty, a large bounty. And if any one man was to kill him, then they'd be able to receive this. David, looking at who is this? Who does this guy think he is that he could strike down the army of God on his own, or even a man of God on his own? And so he went over to Saul the king and said, "I will face Goliath. I will be the one." Saul looking at him like, "Dude, you're just a boy. This guy's been fighting forever. He grew up fighting. and warring and killing people. You really think that you could face him and that you could beat him? You're just a boy. David, looking at Saul, assured him that he would be the one, and he would be the one to strike him down. And so Saul agreed and let David go face Goliath. When David walked upon Goliath, Goliath came out being a giant of a man. Like, probably like up here. So they've got lots of different types, but so like me, I'm tall and stuff, but Goliath was giant. Like, he was way up there. And he was just built. And he came out, what is this? I asked for a man, and you send me a boy? I shall squash this boy. I'll swat him away like I swat the flies that pester the dead that lay at my feet. David just looked at him and took a pebble from his pouch and placed it into his sling and started going in a figure eight motion. And released it, and it slammed into Goliath's forehead. It hit him so hard that he stiffened up and fell forward and died instantly. The Philistines, seeing this, panicked, and the Israeli army took advantage of this and chased them as far as Gath and made them fear the Israeli army. And after that, David's true testing story began.